what they're trying to come down on Michigan for is the fact that they have been sending somebody
Bingo.
in person to do live scouting.
Bingo.
From where I come from, I played high school sports. There were scouts in the stands all the time watching me live.
Hmm.
What's the difference?
Josh Clark, Dave Cesefske. Josh, how's it going, man?
What's up, brother? Things are good over here. How
You
you
got that
doing?
you got that TV on again. That's how I know sports are going on, right?
Yeah. Let me mute that right quick.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, man, things are good. Obviously, we got a lot to talk about today, but I want to really quick. I want to get this off my chest here because I think it's important that we talk about it. Obviously, you know, I'm a Michigan fan. I know you're a Michigan fan, but you're more so a Gators fan. But what's going on right now is it's a lot juicier, and it's getting a little bit juicier every day. At first, I thought it was just something where the sign stealing allegations were just a Michigan State thing, just trying to muddy the water a bit. And obviously, Michigan just blew them out of the water. It was, I mean, it was bad, right? 49-0. But now it comes out that there was a staffer. I don't have the name, and it doesn't matter right now. But he's only making like 50 grand at the school, but yet he was buying tickets to every single game, to every playoff team last year included, except for TCU, who Michigan lost to, so that makes it a little bit juicier. Was that why they lost? I'm not going to say that, but I think it's a bigger deal than people are making. What are your thoughts, and what do you think is going to come down from this? Because you got the Big Ten, you got the playoff committee, and then you got the NCAA. What are your thoughts?
Um, my thoughts are probably sitting on an island here, but I think it's dumb. I really do. I mean, first and foremost, like I don't think a lot of people understand that sign stealing is something that's been common in sports for years.
But it's not the sign stealing.
Another thing, sign stealing is not against NCAA bylaws.
No, not at all. Not at all. Will Venables
What
has been doing it
what
for years, and he won a
right?
national.
It's not as easy
Right.
as it sounds.
Yeah.
So I'm probably on an island there. I think it's dumb. I think it's petty. Michigan is just superior than all these other teams that they've been beating this year. It's clear as day. So I don't think anything's going on right now
Yeah.
in terms of that, but in terms of like the Ohio State game last year,
Hmm.
which is a big thing that I've been reading in terms of this scandal or however you want to put it, kind of comes back to that as far as the video footage that was received by the NCAA.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, we were at that game last year. It doesn't matter what Ohio State did that day. They weren't beating Michigan.
No.
Michigan, like even if they were stealing their signs defensively, Michigan was running up and down the field on them left and right.
Well, I mean that's a good point because it's like even though they were stealing their signs, they weren't changing their defense. It was
Right,
Ohio State. They just kept one safety there, and he kept getting beat over the top. And
right.
I expect the same to happen again, right? Because that's I just don't see, in my opinion, that offense. Well, Marvin Harrison Jr. is special, right?
It's
That
done.
team doesn't scare me. They don't.
Right.
But kind of back to this thing. Let's wrap it up here. But I believe, in terms of the NCAA, the playoff committee, the Big Ten. Okay, the NCAA can do something. We know now that you have 90 days to respond. You can do so. You can push it off. Michigan has done that with this suspension that they gave Jim in the beginning of the season. And it was dumb. We know that about a hamburger for a recruit, whatever. But the NCAA does not like him. They do not like Jim Harbaugh. And if it's not the NCAA, if it's not going to be the playoff committee, in my opinion, they want Michigan there. I think it'll be the Big Ten. And I think they're going to try to make a big statement here because they have a new commissioner coming in, as we know. Josh, what could happen? Are you on? Do they go on probation? Do they lose their chance to go to the playoffs? What happens?
Short term, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by, some type of, penalty, missing
right?
the playoffs, even if they do go undefeated, a couple Big Ten championships getting stripped,
Whether it's right or wrong,
last
you know?
couple of years, things of that nature. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, honestly, too, if I'm a Michigan's fan, I would be scared to lose Jim Harbaugh. Honestly, like I don't think he's like an amazing coach. Like he's not on the Nick Saban level or coaches like that, but
Yeah.
he's definitely helped turn this team around from where he started at 7-8 years ago now. So I'd be worried about him jumping back into the NFL if I'm a Michigan fan, finding his replacement, because
Agreed?
it's not good. It's not gonna be any prettier than what
No.
he's offered the program over the last 3 years.
Clark, he just saw what it's going to look like without Jim there, and Jim was still calling the shots when he wasn't on the sidelines. Was it Sharon Moore, I believe, was doing some calling duties.
Sharon Moore, Mike
He
Hart.
does. He's a offensive line coach. Yeah, Mike Hart. I mean, it's not Jim Harbaugh, and it's not the recruiter that Jim Harbaugh is. But I'm with you though. I think he will leave after this year because one, I believe he wants to win a championship, and people in the NFL have said so, and I understand. He's been close, right? He was, playing his brother.
Right.
Two, I think that these allegations, these suspensions, all this stuff is catching up to him, and I don't believe that they're serious. I don't. But that doesn't mean that I'm not the NCAA. They want to make it. They want to make an example out of him, and they're going to do something. So I think Michigan could be in a spot to be where it's like, okay, they have to do something. So I could see him almost stepping down at the end of the year.
Yeah,
right?
no, absolutely, absolutely. And then another thing too, you got to think about too. I mean, how many of these, redshirt sophomores, these juniors, how many of them decide to, declare for the draft, instead of coming back to school, So I mean, there's a lot to, unplug there, at the University of Michigan.
Right.
Obviously, we know we're going to lose JJ. We know we're going to lose, Corum. Edwards, if he's smart, he's probably gone. Roman Wilson's is probably gone.
Right.
Obviously, McGregor, I believe, he's gone at the defensive end spot. I think Mike Barrett's gone this year. Will Johnson, like all those guys, like they're gone. Like, and then on top of that, how do you replace those guys that you're losing? Recruiting. How many recruits decommit from Michigan because of this?
That's what I'm saying, man. And that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough.
Michigan might be a MAC school for the next 5-6 years if they're on probation. Like, because no one's gonna want to go. No one's gonna want to go there. They go to college to compete for a championship and to improve their draft stock.
Right.
And Michigan was able to do that. But if they get on some type of probation, they're not gonna be able to do that for a few years for a lot of in-state guys.
Thanks for listening to Talkin Detroit Sports with Dave Cesefske and Josh Clark. Before you go, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for all coverage. Detroit Sports.
Cool.